Hey viewers, back again with another installment of my Filipino kids books reviews. I'm recording this on the same day as my April empties video, so that's why I'm wearing the same thing, and that's where you'll find my explanation as for why my face is so white and my arms are so not. The first book I'm going to be talking about is called Filipino Friends by Liana Romulo, illustrated by Corazon Dandan Albano. A little summary on the inside jacket here says, through the eyes of Sam, a Filipino-American boy visiting the Philippines for the first time, children learn about Philippine customs and language. Children of expatriate Filipinos as well as expatriate children living in the Philippines. What does that mean? Expatriate children? Does that mean kids that were born in outside of the Philippines and then came back? Anyway, everyone will find Filipino friends indispensable in bridging the gap between the two cultures. Blah blah blah. Eating ice cream is so needed to be bridged. I found this, okay, the main kind of storyline is in English. It's at the bottom. It says, what is Sam doing? He's visiting the Philippines, in the Philippines, bloopity bloopity blah. And then like the rest of the page are like illustrations, and it says an English word for something and a Filipino word for something. So there is like actually a lot of information. At the bottom is the storyline, and then you got the words. On some pages, there's more information in regards to customs or games. On one of these pages, there's like the Nipa Hut song. On another one, there's a little game you can play going across the page with a dice or something. I think the storyline even tries to rhyme. Sam likes bread with every meal, but Pia thinks rice is a better deal. So it's kind of cheesy. Sometimes it doesn't even seem like they try to rhyme. In the Philippines, the seasons are 2 instead of 4. They've got dry and wet season. There's a lot of good information as regards to customs and things, but just to be picky. And just like, because I don't think you should be satisfied with like just the bare minimum of shit. Who is this meant for? I think kids in the Philippines are gonna know this. Filipino kids outside the Philippines, if they don't know this, then that's like bougie parents who wanna downplay their differences in order to gain favor with another culture that finds problem with, like, why is this whole family so light-skinned? Is it because they live in a bahay and not a kubo? And like on this page, it says sometimes this little child even says mano po when she does the mano po. But I am just being picky. Is misa de gallo like a fruitcake? Like there's just a picture of a fruitcake and it says fruitcake. There's no other Filipino word except this. It says misa de gallo is a rooster's mass. Did nobody notice this? What is... The reading level itself is pretty easy. Like, I think a second grader could potentially read it. It's just that there's a lot of information. So maybe second, maybe third. I just don't like that kind of like attitude or upbringing or whatever of, oh, getting in touch with your heritage or your culture is like a once a year thing. I was just at a festival where it's kind of apparent. You can tell that it's run by bougie people because there's like no political aspect of it whatsoever, and all they do is fucking dance. And they paid this lip service to like Jose Rizal by having like groups named after him, and but all they do is buddy up to like small business people so they can have money to put on their little dances. And they have a statue and painting of him. But like, I thought the whole story about him getting executed by Spain was that he turned around at the last second. And even if that wasn't true, isn't that like a thing you would want to portray? If he's the national fucking hero of the country, wouldn't you want to portray him in like that valiant image of like turning around at the last second and facing his murderers? But instead you got little kids, like not even just little kids, but like fucking adults posing with this mural imitating him being my mom's home. I heard some little girl saying, oh, he was the president.
Yeah, what girl? Are they Filipinos?
Yeah.
They don't know their history.
the people that it seems like this book is for, are those kind of people that try to, they are like the country clubs in King of the Hill that Khan is always trying to be a part of. They always want to get in with the people in power while downplaying who they are, but exploit that whenever it's convenient. What's this Misa de Gallo? How do you sing Bahay Kubo? It's in here too with like the music sheet.
Bahay Kubo kahit munti, malaman doon ay sari-sari, pinamasa talong, pinarasan mani, sitaw ba, pataw patani.
I give this a rating of meh. It says children of expatriate Filipinos. So that's me, right? You're an expatriate Filipino and I am your child. As well as expatriate children living in the Philippines. So who's that? That's like if we went back.
Maybe your parents live here and they could live over there.
Oh. So like the children of OFWs?
I think so.
But like then they will already know all this stuff. They already know all the customs and words and stuff. I feel like this is more for people outside of the Philippines. So like my brother and his wife are, obviously my brother is like me, and they're Phil-Ams, and he is not as proactive as I am about learning stuff. So this would probably be good for both them and their baby. If you already know your stuff, your family is in the streets and stuff protesting injustice, you probably don't need to know that Buhay is house. Buhay? Bahay. I always get them confused. That was not the best example to use. I had another book that was like made in the Philippines, and the dad is very white looking and the child is very light. So colorism is a factor in my ratings of books because representation is not just for one thing. The next book in this video that's taking like half an hour for like 2 things that need to be said is It a Mermaid by Candy Gorlai, pictures by Francesca Chessa. That's a children's book author if I ever heard one. This is new. This one is cute. I was expecting it to be like bigger, more words, but it's mostly pictures. It's about this dugong that thinks it's a mermaid. At first, I thought it was gonna be a metaphor for something else, but it's a children's book. Children's books can and should be metaphors for other things, but this one, I don't think you should apply it towards that. It's just a cute story. It's mostly pictures, like look how little text there is compared to the picture. There's another 2 pages where it's just the dugong saying, "I am a beautiful mermaid." It's cute. You can read it in 5 minutes. And at the back there's a notice about the endangerment of dugongs and how as Europeans in the 1500s thought dugongs were mermaids. So that's probably where the title and story comes from. The back says it's set in the Philippines, but there's honestly like no other way to determine that, so not particularly Filipino focused or themed. This is another meh. And my last book, to the enjoyment of other people now in the house, is called Cora Cook's Pancit. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Pancit?
Pancit.
Written by Dorina K. Laszlo Gilmore and illustrated by Christy Valiant. I love this book.
Because there's pancit on it.
Not just that, but it's none of this like hand-wringing, oh, I'm like a sad little immigrant or child of an immigrant, woe is me. Like there's a Tumblr post that says every diaspora story is like, oh, I am a misfit, I stand alone eating my mango. This is just like such a normal story that so well incorporates one's culture. It's just a kid making a noodle dish, and her concern isn't being disgust with her culture or her food dish or being afraid of what others might think that her culture is weird. She's like excited to do, her concern is being a little kid being allowed to do a grown-up job, cutting vegetables or using the stove, and if the rest of the family will like her cooking. It's so cute. Another thing about representation is that I feel that it's like the immigrant or their kid, it's their story, but in this story it's the grandfather that's actually the immigrant, and like it's kind of insidious in that, well, it doesn't explicitly say that like he was the cook for strikers, but it says the grandfather was the cook for farm workers in California. So take that as you will towards learning about the Delano strikers. This is actually pretty long because it's going through a recipe, and it does include a recipe, but maybe like third grade again. These are all in English. At first, I was gonna say it's kind of fantastical because the mother asks Cora what she wants to make since everyone else is out of the house, and her older brothers and sisters aren't going to be around to do the adult jobs. And Cora says she wants to make pensif, and the mother's just like, okay, because there's like a bajillion ingredients. Like, how do you just happen to have all this stuff in your house already? But we shouldn't like beat children, the magic out of them, and like allow them to believe as long as we can. So yes, I would very much recommend this one. I'm sure I will think of other critiques or otherwise have other information on the blog, so make sure you head over there or subscribe to this channel just to see the video. Follow me on Instagram to see bloopers and outtakes of these videos, and thanks for watching. Bye!